All right, everyone, welcome. You made it to another Friday. Congratulations. Welcome to Cyber Social Hub's Hubcast. What is today? It's August 4th. Man, what happened to July and June already? I cannot believe it's August already. Man, it's insane. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us today on a Friday. There are a few of you in here as more pop in. Welcome. And as you pop in, feel free to say hi in the chat. Now, we're broadcasting out today. We're full network again today. We're going out to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, or X. Sorry, it's now X, right? It's now no longer Twitter. So we're broadcasting out to those four networks. Now, we can only see chats from YouTube and Facebook. So if you're chatting back to me from LinkedIn or Twitter, I can't see it yet. I can't. So hopefully the API is changing. There's some exciting things coming from X, Twitter. I saw Elon Musk post today that they're working on their live video. He actually went live right from his phone as he was walking around, video and all. So kind of mixing in the old Periscope stuff, which is exciting. I know you guys aren't really maybe that excited about it, but as a former broadcast nerd myself, I like it. It's kind of cool that way. Anyway, again, welcome to the Hubcast. If you guys have not ever heard of Cyber Social Hub, what it is just a free, absolutely 100% free network, online community, I guess is a better term for it, since that is what we call it, for digital investigators. So digital investigators, it's free. Go sign up. I think we got close to 3,900, maybe we're still at 3,800. But that's almost, we're creeping up on the 4,000 member mark. And we've only been around a short time, considering how long some of the others have been around. It's going pretty well. And again, in there, you can find resources like this one. Hey, Ron, welcome. You can find resources like our Hubcast every week. You can get free access to free webinars, which teach you a lot of stuff. Access to some free articles that are in there. We post various news feeds from around as well. And then groups that are very specific to specific topics. So like, say you want to talk about just mobile forensics, you can do that. Say you want to talk about chip-off forensics, you can absolutely do that. So yeah, go in and check it out. And also don't forget, we are running our trivia this month. Megan, who's sponsoring that? Oh, I know who's sponsoring it. I think I'm wearing the shirt who's sponsoring it this time. So this is Osmosis Institute. It's the association, and it's just for OSINT investigators. And we're going to their conference, so they gave me a pre-conference shirt. I don't know. There you go. You can kind of see I got the pre-show shirt on, so it'll be exciting to go down there. It's for OSINT type investigations. I think, where are they at? New Orleans this year is what it said. I can't read back there, but there you have it nonetheless. All right, welcome everybody. I see Ron is here. Who else is here? Anyone want to say hi and where you're from? Just make sure you drop it into the chat below. Again, LinkedIn, Twitter, can't see you, I'm sorry. But come over to YouTube. We're there, and you can chat with us all day long. Sometimes the chat gets a lot of fun. So let me bring on my guest here. Let me find my right button here before I go and do this. All right, excellent. All right, I'm going to bring on my guest right now. Here they go. There we go. It is Bill Teel. Everyone saw the advertisements. Hey, Bill, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Sure.
I know we've had like Nolan on before. I think it was at Techno, not last year, or not this past one, but the year before.
Yeah.
He made it on. And then some various sicknesses prevented you from coming on last year, I think it was, at Techno.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lucky to get COVID 2 days before.
I know, and I just saw you like a week prior to that. I think at IASIS.
Terrible.
Down there, man. But
I blame IASIS.
What's that?
I blame IASIS because we were at the IASIS conference just before it, and then I think I got it there.
Yeah, it was funny. I called up one of the guys from IASIS. I'll leave him nameless right now. He's actually he works at a police department just a few cities down from me, so he's like less than a 15-minute drive for me. And I called him up this year. I said, "Hey, man, I got a situation." He's like, "Oh no." He goes, "Did you catch COVID at the show this year?" I'm like, "No." So I thought of you in that instance. So
yeah. Yeah, that was not fun. But I drove home from Myrtle Beach. I got it the day before techno was starting. Sat in the house, left, and then so be it. Oh well.
Man, hopefully it wasn't a bad one for you. I didn't really talk to you much about it, but
No, luckily, no, it wasn't.
that's good. Well, hey, those of you out there in the audience that don't know who Bill is, you should go up and see him. If next time you're at a show, you go to most of the shows, I think, don't you?
We go to a lot for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
definitely.
Are you guys going to Techno West?
Yep, yeah,
Oh,
we'll definitely
okay,
be there.
excellent. I
We'll
will.
be, yeah,
Yeah, I'll see you there.
great.
Yeah, my wife's going to be out there trying to break my number of enrollment again for members into Cyber Social Hub. She did. For those of you didn't know, I had a competition going with my wife of who's going to get the most members to come into Cyber Social Hub because it's free, right? I mean, but obviously she's much more convincing than I am. So I'm getting a
Mhm.
blonde wig for this one and seeing what I can do. That's just,
Good luck. Good luck.
yeah, she did a good
My
job.
money's on her still.
Yeah, she probably will win absolutely again. Yeah, dang it. I don't like admitting defeat, but I had to her, and she still brings it up. And it's been how many months now? Like 3? Yeah,
Yeah, about
2 or 3 months. Still bringing it up. Um, but anyway, those of you who don't know Bill, Bill, you run or own Teel Technologies. Tell me a little bit about Teel Tech. What is it?
So, well, Teel Tech is a largely a reseller of digital forensic tools and trainer, and then we have our own product, XBit. But largely started the company as basically a one-stop shop for all digital forensic tools, starting with mobile device forensics. We launched the company's now 16, 17 years. 2000. This is actually August. We're pretty much right on our, I think, 17th year. So, started in 2006. I was working in the field at another company prior to it as a distributor. We got started. I basically got started. I was, working as in a technology investment
Mm-hmm.
shop, research shop around the dot com days and dot com bubble burst. And
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty much out of a job. And so one of our clients, a British guy, lived here in Connecticut, had a friend in the UK that had a SIM card reading tool that was forensic and was looking for distribution in the US. I convinced him that I knew what I was talking about when it came to SIM cards and, marketing tools and things. And so I started with them to sell that tool or help start that, basically here in the US. And after a couple of years, realized that, this was something that I really loved. I liked the idea of investigating new and interesting technology. I became friends with a lot of the players in the field and had some ideas of my own on how to maybe serve the market that was clearly growing. And so launched Teel Technologies. And yeah, and started with a collection of the mobile device tools. And then we've expanded certainly beyond there and into training and the like.
Yeah, and that was kind of some of the stuff I was gonna touch on is that you guys have that a vast array of stuff. I mean, I was going through the site earlier today and looking at all the stuff that you guys offer. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, you guys have quite a bit of offerings, which to me, as a former person who was in charge of getting all that to my procurement without going to 50 million places, it made sense. I could go to one and go, hey,
Yeah.
look.
Well, and at the time too, it was, mobile device forensics, at least. I mean, this is, kind of pre-celebrate, if you might, call
Hmm.
it, as for terms of the time frame, or they were just starting to, kind of enter the market. But, it was, the feature phone days. It wasn't smartphones yet.
Right.
So a lot of tools did things differently and some better than others with various features, which is where, and then we started, around that time, one of the thoughts was or ideas was to start which is still out there, Mobile Forensic Central, which was a place
That's
where
right.
people could go and my wife, a very talented programmer, um, created it. And essentially, we had this resource for people to go in and enter the make and model of a phone and find out what tool would work with it and then what they could possibly get off of it. That site has sort of been is sort of obsolete at this point, but was useful, I think, at the time. And it was kind of a you know it was free, and it kind of helped put us on the map, I guess.
Oh heck yeah! I forgot totally you guys ran that site until you just said something, and that's something I
Yeah.
used almost. I think every investigation. Every investigation, I was looking up a different phone because man, I can't remember the name of the old security locks on those old flip phones. It's nothing like we saw now. It wasn't true encryption, and I can't remember. It's been so
Yeah.
long. We're
Yeah.
dating ourselves a little bit.
I know. Absolutely.
But it would always say if how to get around that. If you guys had the default one, which I know with a lot of the Verizons, it was 4 zeros would get me around that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was your site that did. I forgot totally you guys ran that. That's great. It's so
Mm.
great. But and you've evolved quite a bit
Yeah.
since those
Well,
days.
Well, we did, absolutely, and we recognized a lot of, as more and more tools and more training came out. We kind of went the more advanced route. I think a lot of people know us for our JTAG and chip off
Oh
and
yeah.
some of that stuff, and that was a conscious decision that we made back then. To help kind of fill a need when we started seeing things like encryption creep in and more challenging, with Android. And I mean, even the first iPhone, um, we did, our first, actually, first class, our first chip off. And this, we obviously were finding our way as well with a lot of this, but, we first started doing a chip off class with the first iPhone, which had
Wow.
TSOP memory in it, which for those who do chip offs know TSOP's a fairly easy piece of, type of chip to pull out of a device and then read it. And so we thought, well, this chip off thing this is great. Here we can get these chips out, and it's super easy. And then, of course, the next iPhone came out, and it was a proper BGA, and it was then it got a little more challenging, and then obviously encryption and so on and so forth. But we did look at it as an opportunity to sort of continue to stay relevant, with the with teaching some of those advanced techniques and offering those things. So that moved into our catalog of product as well, some of those tools.
That's phenomenal. I mean, yeah, and I think because I'm looking on your site right now, I'll switch over to that view so people can see what in the world I'm talking about. Hopefully this switches well. Hold on, I haven't used this button in a minute. Uh, hey, there it is, and it looks like to
That's the
me,
room I'm in.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This room right here is obviously you're in the background of that right now. There's a lot of equipment back there.
Yeah, this is our classroom. If I didn't risk like breaking this whole connection, I'd. But yeah, you showed it up. But this is our classroom. So we have, fortunately, this nice building here in Norwalk, Connecticut, so we've outfitted it with all the benches and stuff, and all the proper gear to do the training. Of which we also have location in Toronto and Victoria and down in Florida, where we do all this type of work. And then we,
Mm-hmm.
not to plug our, training too much, but we do ship it and go all around the world basically. But it's a bit of a production. You need a lot of this gear to,
Yeah.
pull things apart or repair or what have you.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glancing at the picture. If you guys, if everyone in the follows along here, I'm just going to paste this link real quick into chat. So if they want to take a look, they can as well and get a closer look on those images. Man, there's a lot of stuff that's there that you have to deal with. How many times when you first set up did you blow breakers? Was it often?
Well, actually, it's funny you say that, because, and you'll appreciate this from Ohio. I think it was Columbus, Ohio. We did our first
Oh,
class in on location, and everybody's set up. Everybody's good to go. 8, 10 people, whatever. and everybody goes to turn on their hot air or soldering, and all the lights in the police station go out. The whole, like, it like
Yeah.
flipped whatever switch. So it wasn't a good thing. It was we realized what the power requirements were, and we very quickly drafted a document for any host location to ensure that that didn't happen again. And we've had these situations where people are running extension cords down hallways and trying to so yeah, there is that power requirement that you got to be aware of.
It's a beast too. Yeah, I actually sat in a class I attended once, and that happened. I was like,
Yeah,
"Whoops!"
yeah,
and
yeah,
and I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking in the back of my head, I bet you they're going to come up with some type of document right after this, so.
yeah, yeah.
and to solve that problem. So that's very cool. So what types of devices you guys teach? Obviously not just chip off. Is there some repair techniques in there now based off of some of the
Yeah.
things that go on?
Yeah, we actually are probably among our more popular class is the board level repair class.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do teach that. We and it's an interesting area where you know prior to like the gray keys and Celebrites, with the unlocking capabilities, there were a lot of phones that would sit around that were totally locked, that were broken, or they assumed they were locked, but they were broken up and whatever. So the idea of being able to repair a device where you could have a reasonable expectation that you could connect it to something and unlock it was sort of the I think the catalyst in some ways for us to really invest in a course that really taught at the board level really to how to fix a device. And I'm not going to claim the developer of the course. I'm not that smart. Maggie is our go-to guru on a lot of our training and development of the classes. But yeah, that class is become a very popular one, and not just for phones, but for other kinds of devices as well that people need to get back up to some functional state so that they can recover the data. But it's a pretty intense class. In fact, this classroom behind me, all the gear that's here is largely from the select, for that class. I mean, it applies to all the others, but
Mm-hmm.
there's some of the more fine soldering and tweezers and all that kind of fancy gear that's required to get deep into phones to fix them. We've outfitted this classroom with.
Wow, that's awesome. And this classroom you say is in Connecticut, up in what
Yeah,
city again?
we're in Norwalk, so we're
Okay.
basically an hour from Manhattan.
No, okay.
Easy train ride, or from the airport's not too far,
Oh, that's
depending
not
on
far at
traffic.
all. That's not really far at all. To get some of that training. And how many seats do you have in that classroom? Because I'm seeing just alone looks like 5 just in your
We
online
have we
6.
have 12 workbenches,
Man.
which you know it aren't full all the time. It'd be nice, but no. But we have 12 workbenches here, and as many seats or more in the
Sure,
classroom.
sure. And don't be shy in bringing up your training and stuff like that. It's about the knowledge, right? We want to share with everyone else, so they may not be aware of, hey, they can get board level repair, because a lot of times people do something silly, or the lightning cable connector or something's just bad and it's an easy fix, but I don't know if I could do it anymore. It's been so long since I've held a soldering iron, except probably to burn my own finger, that a training session is definitely needed for stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it is pretty deep, and I'm the same way. Like if I go reach for a soldering iron, somebody stops me because I'm going to hurt myself or somebody else. I somehow managed to avoid having to do that kind of work. But it's impressive what people can do with a device that's, you'd think, completely destroyed, and are able to bring it back to life to a functional enough state to recover data or whatever.
Yeah. Now you guys host a lot of webinars too, right? You guys do some webinars and stuff for You're
for our
very
partners.
vendors. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a reseller representing products and brands and the like, we're we do our best to give as much exposure to our partners, and that is oftentimes through webinars. So I know our next one is with Detego. They're
Oh,
a
nice.
company out of UK that's here in the US also, and they've got great technology, and they're pushing forward, into the AI space. So that's going
Hmm.
to be an interesting one. They're showing how they're incorporating some of their AI tech into that suite of tools. And I'm sorry, I don't have the date of it, but it's on the site, I'm sure. And
Yeah,
um,
we can look it up. I'll post it down in the show notes afterwards. That'll be a good one. I like CJ and a few of the folks. Javin, I can't remember some other guys, and Mike
Javis and
Javis.
Mike,
Javis.
yeah,
I just met him at the show in the spring, and then
yeah,
obviously Mike and CJ I've known for, well, Mike's fairly new to the crew, but CJ I've known for a couple years.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
good stuff, good
great
tech.
people. Yeah, we always make fun of CJ a little bit. He takes it personally because we say he looks like Lou Ferrigno from the
Ah,
old Incredible Hulk days. So yeah, don't tell him I told you. He's probably watching though, and he'll
well,
get me.
I don't know if you've seen Gabe at our company, but anybody he gets mistaken for DJ Khalij. Khalij, I get it wrong all the time.
Really? No,
Like,
I haven't
oh yeah,
seen him.
if you were in earshot, I'd have him come up and show you. But yeah, no, people get pictures taken with him because they think he's like a lookup. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
All right.
We're gonna we're gonna spin off a side of like celebrity personality, and whatever. Have them go to parties and things
There you go. That should be a whole thing in your booth. Get your picture taken with
with
some.
DJ Khalid. Yeah.
Just
I'm
like give us
probably
your.
pronouncing it wrong too.
I don't even know the person honestly, so I'm gonna look him up right after
We're
this.
not hip young kids anymore, are we, Kevin?
No. I literally in 4 days from now I turn 52, so I'm just like,
Oh,
oh man. I felt it yesterday though because my wife's buying all this furniture that I have to carry in the house and put together, and I just can't sit in some of those weird positions. You have to put these little screws. Worst of all, I can't read the directions anymore. I have to have reading glasses now.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
oh, there's hold on, somebody's talking to you here. I'll just put it up on the screen there.
Oh, oh. Yeah,
Man,
yes.
Manny, send him up.
Hang on.
Send him up to say hi if he's brave enough. That's great.
Nah. I'm sure conveniently he has to run an errand.
Yeah, right. That's too funny. So I wasn't aware you guys had that many locations either of your training. Now, obviously, I knew the one in Connecticut. I knew it was up there
Yeah.
somewhere. I'm geographically impaired, so bear with me. And how many do you have in Canada?
So Canada, we've got one location in Toronto,
Okay.
actually a new classroom in Toronto
Oh,
coming
nice.
soon. I think we're online with it now. And then out in Victoria, which is, if you've ever been there, one of the more beautiful places in the world.
Yeah. Now,
And then
is that
we are,
west? Is that way out
yeah,
west? Okay.
yep, yeah, yeah. It's off the West Coast, as far west as you can go in Canada, basically.
Okay.
Um, and then Florida, we have a spot at it's FIU NFSTC. They're it's down in just in not Tampa, but
Wow.
down along the coast there in
Okay.
Florida.
So you're on the
Yeah, because we'd like to
Gulf
have the
side.
north and south, and we're looking for a West Coast host or partner or something.
Yeah.
Pinellas, it's down off Pinellas. Sorry.
Okay. And who doesn't want to go to Florida in our northern U.S. Winters, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
if I'm, no offense, but if I have a choice between Connecticut, which I live in Cleveland, we get lake effects now up here,
yeah,
or Florida, I'm Florida bound any day of the week. So
yeah. Yeah. No, we try to get locations that are easy enough for people to get to, and nice, I mean, and Norwalk is a nice little town here in Connecticut, and people enjoy coming here because they'll spend the weekend in New York City or go up the coast or something like that. So it's a good location. And then you can't beat Toronto and Victoria. So those are great too.
yeah, I'll have to look the town up where you're at. Is it? is it like a bigger city or more like suburbish looking or
Norwalk.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's I don't know. There's probably it's a city technically,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe 200,000 people. It's,
Oh, it's great
among the
size.
littler towns in Connecticut. Oh, there he is. Time to make a cameo.
Yeah. Everybody, get your screenshot equipment ready. All right.
We were just talking about how you look like
Oh,
Gabe.
there he is. Oh, I have seen him before. Yes.
You know Gabe?
That's pretty awesome. The shirt is phenomenal. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, heck yeah. That's phenomenal. Yeah, nobody believe us. We're sitting here talking. There
Yeah,
he goes. He's
there's the guy. $50 an hour at your next party. 100. Sorry, he says 100.
So even Megan knows who he is. So she's like, "Oh my God, he does look like him." So
Yeah, there you go.
that's too funny. Oh man, that just made the whole hubcast that just moment right there. So
Well,
I'll have to get him. Oh, I'm going to send you. I
he'll
don't
be
know.
next. You can have him on next week.
All right. Uh, I'm going to get
Gabe
you one
handles,
of.
if anybody has been through an NCFI training and gotten some of our kit there, Gabe is the man. He's the one that puts all of those things together,
Oh,
among
really?
other things.
Oh, wow.
We do a lot. Everybody here wears a few different hats, and Gabe has probably among the most of them.
Yeah.
But does great work.
Yeah. Now, has he been to a show before? He's been to shows before, hasn't he? Or has he?
Probably. I
Okay,
think
because
I think he's been to one or two.
he looks familiar.
That's because he
Maybe
looks
I'm
like
getting
DJ
confused
Khaled.
with his doppelganger, though, so that could be it.
That's right. Yeah.
That's some funny stuff. You should seriously charge in your booth to get a picture taken. Nobody will blame
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We'll think about that next time.
Yeah. Some of the other stuff I wanted to talk to you about was not only obviously we talked about the training and the awesome facility that you're in too. You guys have your own software too, right?
Yes. Well, we do. It's the
Yeah.
XBit case management, lab management, however you want to put it, tool.
Sure. Can you tell the folks a little bit about that? So you can get
Yeah. So we had been introduced to somebody actually down in Pinellas, FBI, who had created a tool that he was using, and some of the others in a regional kind of task force for basically logging their evidence, digital evidence primarily. Um, and it was at a time when we thought it would be a good solution, or it seemed to be very much needed in the market, and for a lot of labs and stuff. So we acquired it, and have since basically rewritten it, and and now offer it as a tool to just about anybody. It for me, it was a complementary solution. It didn't. I don't like to I don't like to represent competing products a lot, although there are obviously a few mobile device and computer
right.
forensic tools. But I didn't want
Mhm.
to come up with a product. I always said that I would never, as a reseller, come out with my own product, and I broke that rule with XBit because it did seem like it was a requirement. It seemed like there was a lot of demand, and we're seeing the a number of digital evidence increasing twofold or whatever almost every year. So it seemed like there was it made sense for us. I wasn't going to compete with any of my partners with it.
Right.
And so we took it on, and as luck would have it, it was just at the beginning or pre-COVID by a year. So we had a bunch of developers, and then COVID hit, and then we had a bunch of developers and no sales and nothing going on. So we were really kind of working through that, but kind of kept our head down and kept working on it, and have a great team. And we really listen to the customers. We try to and develop for their needs. It's been, I'm not going to lie, a challenge for sure. It's a lot of investment, and there's we learned quickly that there's no standardization really. I mean, there's obviously there's standards as far as lab auditing and stuff like that, but no standards in the way that a lot of labs, log their data or put their case information in. Everybody kind of does it differently. And so we, again, learned quickly that for the product to be successful, it really had to be as flexible of a solution as it could be. Everybody's so busy and have way more work than they do time. So we didn't want to train people or make them conform to the way the tool worked. We wanted to make the tool sort of conform to the way they work, which, sounds simple, but isn't exactly easy, and wasn't with it. So, but that's been the kind of goal and the driving sort of priority, I guess, with the tool ever since. And we're happy with it. It's come a long way, and it's proving to be fairly popular. And as you just flashed up on the screen there, we are now on GSA. So it is that in and of itself is a challenge, but we did get it on. We do have a contract with GSA, so make it a little bit easier for the federal customers to acquire it.
Yep, for sure. I remember my days of having to deal with anything GSA, and I pity you a little bit from that. It's pretty painful, but yeah, I ran.
Well, and I'll give credit again to my wife, a developer and programmer who is the lead on that product, Julia. Nice. She's a product sort of manager at this point. Yeah. She is a career coder, but today the way things are developed is, she's finally stepped back and she can't keep up. So we have a lot of very good people on that product.
Yeah, I could imagine how much has changed. I ran product for another company for a while, quite a few developers, and I don't know how anyone does that for too long without, I blame some of the gray that's come in on that, but man, yeah, that's a rough thing with software. Is insane.
Yeah. We live and breathe it now, unfortunately, every day in some ways, but it's pretty remarkable too what they can develop and turn around in pretty short order. So
so
we're happy with it.
Yeah, for those of you who are watching the episode, either live or later, be nice to your software people, man. There's some challenges that go on behind the scenes that you'll never know about, and it's best you don't, because you'll be like, oh my goodness, how do they tolerate that and not drink themselves to death? Well, that's the way it works.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I got home last night, and Julia works from home, and she was working on part of a feature of it, a peer review stuff, and she was just exhausted by the mental anguish she was putting herself through, trying to figure out some feature aspect of it that, I can't even begin to understand on the, how it works, under the hood, so to speak. But
yeah. Oh, I met your wife. That's right. My wife and I both met her at Wilmington.
Probably. Yep. Yeah. She joined us for Wilmington. Yeah. For
some reason it just clicked to me. When you said her name is when it clicked.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Awesome. Oh man, I had to give her a lot more grace. I had to, had I known she was running up your product side of that thing.
Yeah. She's our secret weapon.
That's right. So if you guys want to check it out, I posted the link in chat, and I'll put it again in the show notes if you're watching post. Just keep in mind, if you're watching and you don't see it there yet, the chat, YouTube takes a little bit to put the chat up for some reason. They wait a couple hours and then they'll put the chat back up. It'll be there, but I'll try to squeeze it in the show notes right away so you guys can get to it and check those things out for sure. So awesome. What else you got going on over there at Teel Tech? You guys got like a million things happening from services, which we haven't even talked about yet. What kind of services do you offer there?
I mean, we've got, Maggie, who again, instructor, course developer, also handles a lot of our services. So, I wouldn't say it's a big part of the business, but it definitely is. It's growing, and yeah, we support law enforcement, private, some private work. Again, we kind of lean on and leverage our advanced kind of capabilities for that kind of stuff. So we do get a fair amount of the chip off type requests. vehicles, vehicle forensics, which is really I mean, is a hot topic currently right now.
Oh, that's
And
right.
again, along with like our board level repair, is a really popular class. But we've got a nice network of folks that we around the country and that we work with, that work with us on those jobs. So we outsource a lot and have a lot of contract type service help. But we'll, take anything in. There's no job too big or small or hard or whatever that we'll try to help with if we can. So
And that's
yeah,
awesome. I cannot count the times I've gotten into something where I knew there was information and evidence in something like a vehicle, for example. I have no idea how to do a vehicle, never done a vehicle. Um, and if that service was around, heck yeah, we
yeah,
source that out somewhere else. And it's too much because, you're came from a small lab fairly. We tried to do everything, but it was just I'd have been at training my whole time. I wouldn't be able to actually work any cases if I tried to do absolutely
yeah,
everything. So,
yeah. Well, and there's so much more places where relevant data seems to be residing in the most obscure and esoteric kinds of devices that IoT we haven't talked about, and which is another embedded tech that we
mm-hmm,
train as well. But yeah, it's an interesting, for sure, an interesting time, I think, in our field where things are increasing in the numbers of devices of which are of interest, and then the challenges, of course, to recover the data, and then further, proprietary data formats that then need to get decoded. I mean, a lot of times we're teaching the easy part of it, which is how to get the data from the device wherever it may be, and then
mm-hmm.
once you have it, well, then what? Vehicles is a great example. I mean, Burla does a fantastic job, but not everything, and uh, so some of these other file formats, QNX is the one that I know off the top of my head because we're always working with people trying to help with that. But that's in drones, some of these little cheapo drones that have some
Ooh.
kind of data in there, be it navigation, some kind of flight path, whatever. John Vieira, John is the man. I just saw that. John is amazing. Yeah. John works with John's Canada, works for CBP up in Canada, and is one of our instructors, developer of the IoT class, co-developer. But yeah, he's a man. So, but yeah, anyway, those are in some ways the challenges that we're trying to help with, either from the services side, but obviously content training wise as well,
Mm-hmm.
that we're always working on that kind of stuff. And vehicles is a great example of what's happening today, what people are really finding. There's so much data in cars, and so much, information that is relevant to their cases. We have one of the things we obviously do is have our doors always open to
Mm-hmm.
local law enforcement. So, recently, more recently than, or last year or so, folks from around that don't have maybe that adapter, maybe they don't have that weird chip that they've pulled out of a device, and they've got a lab that's similar to what we have here, but they don't have everything. So they come in, they'll work here, and or we'll loan out, they'll come and grab something
That's
and take
awesome.
it back with them. So that's a gratifying thing about the business. The whole business is very gratifying because I think that was one of the things that really drew me to this field, is that it was an opportunity to be start my own business, be entrepreneurial, but also do good. Like
Right.
that was so. We all work hard here, but we all there's a lot of gratification that goes along with it. Anyway, I've
Oh, yeah,
real
absolutely. And that's pretty awesome that you open the doors up to local law enforcement to come in and kind of use things when they're in a pinch because that happens all the time. At least it used to me. I'm assuming it
yeah,
still does.
yeah. No, I've come down and weird hours and unlocked the door and gotten in and helped, either because we have some random piece of equipment stuffed away in the box from 15 years ago that just so happens what they need, and it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Minus the, like you said, the 3 a.m. wake up calls. It's all good.
Yeah.
At least they're not drunken dials. That happens, but yeah, you're
Right.
you're good. Now you guys offer. I'm trying to hit everything that you guys offer the community because it's just so much, which is great. And I want everyone to be aware that hey, you're a resource and that you guys deal with people one on one to really help them solve their problems. I mean, I'm looking here right now, and you have Faraday equipment as well
Oh yeah.
as like rugged computing. You have, of course, I know Manny's nearby you somewhere.
Manny's just down the street.
There you
Yep.
go.
So the
And we had Manny
BitMine's
on just
computers.
2 weeks ago with that. Yeah, and it looks like you have some secure storage as well. Um,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff we try to bring in tools that, are, a lot of things somebody will call us up and ask us if we have something. And if we don't, then we start to look at whether or not we should bring something in. So I think we got the Ciphertex in there, which, is again a product that we've represented for many years. And it's just one of those things. It's, we have to be careful about how much, in fact,
hmm.
we've really kind of been trying to be disciplined as to bringing in too much stuff because it doesn't serve the partner well and in some ways the customer. So, but a lot of these things like Faraday, there's any number of different types of offerings and that you can look at, and it's an interesting area that's become a lot more, I think, relevant as well. IoT devices, anything that's connected to the network that
Oh
needs to
yeah,
be isolated and worked on, and so yeah, I mean, way back when, I think it was Ramsey was among the only ones, and now you've got four or five of which you probably see on our site as well.
yep,
Each of them do some things differently too, and offer different types of bags or whatever,
yeah. I've seen the
tents,
bags. I've seen tents. I've seen uh, essentially what else was it? Like these big stand up
the
mini
boxes.
tents. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, all kinds of different things, which is pretty amazing. And when I worked for another company, they actually built a room, and under the drywall, they lined it with like just sheets of Faraday material.
yeah.
Man, I don't know how much that cost them, but it was just lined completely.
Did it work?
Yeah, that seems to have. I don't know. Maybe it's all in my head. I don't know. When I would walk into that room and we'd close the door, and they had this thing that came down over the door too. They didn't have a good way to keep, and it would just feel weird because you're not getting hit with radio waves. I don't know. Maybe it
Yeah,
was just me, and maybe the guy had pre-put that notion in my head before going into the room, but it just felt like a calmness in there. It was strange.
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. See, now you want to
Yeah,
build
no,
one of
we've
these.
we've had people pitch us, the wallpaper, all kinds of things like that for, to be able to create basically a Faraday tent without having to maybe spend the money. So
Yeah. Wallpaper, huh? That's interesting. I've never heard of
yeah,
that.
wallpaper and tape. But
Yeah.
if the signal gets through, and you can't figure out where, then what?
Yeah, right. It's probably better just to line the yeah. Anyway, line the whole room in a like a big curtain or something. You got all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I got some funny jokes about those things. I'll tell you later.
All right.
um, Now, one of the things that I was excited to see is because I remember when I first started hearing about SQLite type um, cases and stuff when it became more and more popular. Obviously, I started in phones before databases were a thing in phones. It
Right.
was the old flip phones, and like I said, there weren't much to them. You could dial a number, and to text, you had to hit a number several times to get a letter, three times over here, a couple times over here, just to send a text message out. It was horrific. But I see you guys have the Sanderson Forensic Toolkit for SQLite,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is stinking awesome for anyone who doesn't manually want to parse a SQLite database. I remember seeing this tool, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, how amazing is this?"
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
long? How long have you
So
had this?
I think we've had it for 3 years now, maybe.
Nice.
So it was created by Paul Sanderson,
Hmm.
who is obviously the guru of SQLite. He had, unfortunately, his wife passed away, and he kind of lost. The two of them work very close together. He, the developer, she sort of handling all the sales and marketing. And then I don't want to say he lost interest. I wouldn't say that, but I think he just wanted to kind of move on. It was a bit tough time for him. So we worked with him on acquiring that. And that's a joint ownership between Teel Tech USA and Bob Elder up at Teel Tech
Oh yeah,
Canada.
Bob.
So Bob, so we have had it, ever since. And it is a great tool. Those of you that are out there that maybe have used it probably are, noticing some of the bugs. It's an older tool, but it still is a very popular tool and still does a few of the things with SQLite databases the best. And it's a nice price, pretty low price product. So yeah, we're constantly, well, I should say, and again, anybody that I've spoken to has said, "Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're going to fix it. We're going to rewrite it." We do need to upgrade that tool or do some development to it, which is going to happen. But the thing is, it's for what it does today, even now, it is still the best,
Oh
and we
yeah.
hear that all the time. So in some ways, we don't want to fix what isn't broken, although it is a little bit, with some of these new updates with Windows, some of the features of it aren't working. And I'm not a database expert myself. I know that it's some of the things people really like it for is makes it worth, I think, the price of admission, if you will.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, and we do teach that class as well. Any student gets it. It's being distributed at NCFI as well currently. So that's another opportunity to,
Oh
you
heck
know,
yeah.
to get a hold of.
Yeah. I mean, even if the tool, I mean, even if there's some small issues with the tool, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, because the amount of stuff that this thing did was amazing. If you guys haven't had a chance to see it, try it. It's pretty amazing. I remember when it first came out, and I was like, oh man, this saves me so much time and effort alone in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also,
And
I
most of the,
good.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, we can, continue to see more SQLite in more in databases and more types of devices and stuff. So like it's not going away.
No.
So for us to keep selling it and keep offering it and supporting it really makes sense. And again, with the ever increasing costs of a lot of these tools, it's nice to find something that's very good at a reasonable price point.
Yep, for sure. You're just going to have to expand your room there and make a whole development wing for all your developers you need to
Yeah,
bring in and manage.
yeah, yeah.
I can
We'll
feel
see.
the stress come off of you right just then.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Developers aren't cheap.
no, it's justified too. Yeah, no, they're not. If you, yeah, sometimes I look back and I go, man, why didn't I be a developer? They make so much money.
I know.
Probably because I hate
I
math.
think about that too. I think about the time when we had like we were like one of the lucky, to have an Apple II computer, early days. And I spent an entire day looking at this Apple book, coding, because I was going to create this robot. And I'm like, this is going to be so cool. And I'm going to code it and it's come out and whatever. And it was like a block stick figure at the end of it. And I was like, I'm never going to be a programmer. This is too much work for something that didn't really pay off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember. I used to my first computer could actually program. Oh, I still have it in the other room. It was an Atari. Was it the 800 or 650 XL? It was basically an Atari gaming computer that they built a keyboard into, right? And you could program it. It still used basic, right? Line 10, print high, line 20, go to 10, and then type run.
Yeah.
That was my whole skill. And the code came in, they didn't have, CDs, thumb drives, stuff. I would get this magazine. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it just had pages and pages of code that you'd have to type in
Yeah.
and transcribe it all in.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Nightmare ish.
A whole day for a stick
Yeah.
figure robot.
And then,
That was the last of my coding.
yeah, and then it didn't work or something. You're like, oh man.
Right.
There you go. It still
I don't have
has
the
the
patience.
this Apple IIe
Oh my gosh, he still has his Apple II Plus.
2 Plus. Oh yeah,
Wow,
that is
that's got to be worth some money.
probably has to be. Marcus, this thing, does it still work? Are you brave enough to plug it in and put power to that thing? I don't know if you'd want to do that though.
No, it's
Oh,
be
he's like
case.
he's like nah.
No way.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's the Atari I have is not the original one. I found one on eBay about 10 or 15 years ago, and I'm like, man, I want to buy one of these things. This was my first computer. Oh, he says it still works. Look at that. His floppy
Wow.
drive sounds horrible, but
Yeah.
it does indeed work. That's pretty awesome.
Well, now we know who to go to for Apple II forensics if we need it.
Yeah, there you go. uh, one of the things about that. Yeah. Hey, I forgot to also tell you guys, if you have questions for Bill, anything from training to, tools to, whatever, by all means, please ask. And that's what we're here for, interact a little bit. I'm scrolling through now to see if there's any questions other than, Khalid, I think was the name here.
Yeah.
So
How do I get a picture with DJ Khalid?
yeah, right. So if you have a question for Bill, please ask, and happy to answer it. And if he can't get to it today for whatever reason, then we'll make sure he gets it up there in Connecticut. Now, you're a boater as well. I heard a rumor because you told me.
Yeah.
Anywhere in particular? Well, I mean, do you typically go on lakes or do you go out into the big water?
So we go. So we're on Long Island Sound.
Okay.
So I have a boat here and we go cruise around and fishing and things like that. And then up in Maine, we have a family kind of place up in Maine that's been,
Mm-hmm.
up there. So we're up there too, which is a little bit different, a little bit harsher. But yeah, no, I love being on the water. Have been my whole life, sailing or now we have an outboard. But yeah, I love to get out there and hopefully maybe tomorrow it's supposed to be pretty nice here. So yeah,
I'm
and we go
jealous.
out and again fish, or we actually one of the local websites. It's called CT Bites. Just came out with a list of like the 20 places to go to on the water. Where you could tie up and or more, and I guess
Mm-hmm.
come in and go have lunch. So my wife and Julie and I were just looking at some that we might try to hit to go to tomorrow.
Nice. Got to have live bands and out there. That's
Yeah,
my requirements. We had this. I have a boat which is one of those like little twin engine jet boats. It's a Yamaha. It's a 23 footer, something like that. The big ski tower on it,
yeah,
which I've hurt myself many times on. I haven't had it in the water in almost 2 years now. I got to get it back in the water. That's why I'm jealous. Um, and we used to go to this little place, this little lake called Indian Lake. My wife and I, and it's a lot of different places you can just pull up, and again, throw your anchor out, and they got live
yeah.
bands going, and everyone gets on their inner tubes or some kind of raft and kind of goes in to get a drink or something, and then comes back out to the boat on it. It was always a lot of fun. Now I don't know if I could get on the little inner tube and go into shore, but
Yeah.
man, I miss
No,
it.
and we used to do the tubing. So we'd get, the kids would, when they were little, they'd still like it, but, pull them behind the boat and, they have a blast. I'd
Yeah.
always try to go overweight to knock them off, but they got pretty good at hanging in there.
I was just going to ask you. I was how far is the record launch of one of your little ones?
Not one of mine, but another like friend that was on it they got tossed pretty good. You try to get them, they go airborne off the raft, and then when they come down, they can bounce off.
Oh
But
yeah,
I get
you learn how
myself
to
in trouble.
bring that boat into that deep turn and then come right back out to bring them across that wake. And it's just like,
Yeah.
hang on for that. Choo.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it just rests off the back of the boat and people lie on it to stay cool or sit, jump in the water and then just hang out.
Right.
But it's fun.
Yeah, that's we haven't had ours. My kids are still really little. They loved it the last couple times we went, and I gotta get them back out there. I used to love to wakeboard. Not very good at it. Don't ask me to do flips or anything like that. I'm lucky to be up and waving at people up on the thing, but
Right.
It's a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm glad I'm the only one that drives the boat because I don't want to get back out on. I don't even want to go on the tube thing.
yeah, I'm afraid at my age things hurt a lot more or longer, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's anymore, but it's pretty nice because I'm right up here near Sandusky, Ohio, which is Cedar Point, the amusement park. And
Yeah.
it takes me a boat ride, maybe not even quite 20 minutes to shoot over there. And we can just throw a line right across from there, go out, enjoy their beach and the roller coasters go. And, or if we want to go in the park, we're pass holders. I love the open water. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
That's awesome stuff. All right, man. See, what did I tell you when we first started this?
Wow.
That you were worried, like, we gotta go 40 minutes, get the full hour. Yes, we got the full hour out. You blink, and the full hour goes by.
Well, it's nice chatting. I don't know.
Yeah,
Did we say anything of interest? We saw that we have a DJ Khalid impersonator here and, some gear.
that's right. That's right. And no, I mean it's. I think the hubcasts are different that way. I don't, man. I never take myself too seriously when it comes to these things. We just come in here, have fun, and get people to get involved, and that's what the hubcasts are really all about.
Yeah.
Because
I
the
enjoy
community
it.
really needs to get closer because man, there's just so much nonsense. All the investigators have to deal with day to day. So this is kind of a venting point for that, and then to learn a little
Yeah.
something in between.
Right. Right. It's a
Yeah,
good way to spend a Friday afternoon.
yeah, that, and you can hopefully some people can at least take a break or cut out a little early maybe on a Friday. But
Yeah.
yeah, hey, your episode. I'm meaning to tell you, and Manny, because Manny was on 2 weeks ago. We're actually
Yeah.
finally pushing this hubcast out to Spotify's, Apple Podcasts, and finally, so take the audio side of it and push it out there. So we're really excited about that.
Cool.
So I want to let you guys know, since you guys are both down real close to one another, and I know Manny was here a minute ago, so I don't know if he
Yeah.
still is, but yeah, you guys are going to be
Annie
the
was
first.
coaching me on how to do this. I wasn't sure exactly what this was going to be. I was going to get hit with the hard questions. So it's
Oh
like, nope,
no,
it's going to go by real quick.
yeah, no, it's casual. We just have a lot of fun. Back and forth. I'm not like who was the interviewer that always made everyone cry? Walters, right?
Barbara Walters,
Yeah.
right?
I would never do that to you.
Right.
So yeah, that's
I
fantastic.
hear back in 19 something,
Right. Well, Bill, man, thank you so much for popping on. I
No,
really
thank you.
appreciate it. And if any of you guys need, to source your tools, like and get everything in one, go check out Teel Technologies. I posted the site. I'll post it down here again. And what is that? There we go. Sorry, it's last minute comments
You'll
from
go
Megan
down
coming
there.
in. And make sure you check them out. Again, I'll post everything down into the show notes. Until then, Bill, again, thank you so much. Hey, when's your next show? Where you guys headed to next?
No, I think we'll be at Techno or Northwest ICAC. I don't know which one's first. I think Techno, right?
I got to go look. I think it's in September. It is
We'll
September.
be at both of those. Yeah, Techno and then Northwest ICAC, and
Awesome.
then I don't know what else after that. People just have to come here.
Yeah, there you go. Megan says she thinks techno's first. So
Yeah,
I'll,
I
I'll
think
have
it is.
I'll have to believe. I
Both are
don't.
great though. Techno is, I mean, it's a new location just like Wilmington, but I thought they pulled it off well in Wilmington.
Mhm.
Definitely a bigger venue, which is
Oh
I
yeah,
think needed.
yeah, for sure.
And we'll see where is it? Pasadena. I get
Yeah.
that. Or yeah, Pasadena. So
Yep. Yep,
Yeah.
that should be a lot of fun out there. So yeah, hey, we'll come by the booth and say hi. We have our handy little GoPro now, and so we'll come by and get some words
Oh,
from you. So yeah, I
wow.
got
There
it
we go.
actually. I just finished outrigging it with all kinds of fun stuff, and one of the brightest lights. Hold on, I'm going to want to put it right at the camera. I have ever seen on anything. This thing is so stinking bright. I mean, it's insane. Now I'm seeing dots. Um,
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
pretty bright.
got the whole microphone, everything. So it's our new mobile or our long distance studio essentially, because all this equipment is too much to ship. So we're not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
anymore. All right.
I
Well,
know what
Bill,
that's
thanks
like.
so much. You guys
Thank you.
check out Teel Technologies. All the training, see all the awesome equipment in the background over there. Um, go to their website, or you can just Google Teel Tech. It'll pop right up, and
Find
you'll
it.
find them. Bill, again, thank you, and I know for sure I will see you in Pasadena. So thanks again.
Yeah. Right on. Thank you. Thanks,
Uh-huh.
everybody.
Thanks.